We have great news. The 2018 midterm elections are indeed coming around, and now we have news coming from Bernie Sanders himself that he will be seeking re-election in the Senate for another term. He was elected in 06 as well as 2012, and his 6 years are going to be up in 2018, and therefore he will, yes, in fact, be running for re-election in the Senate, which is fucking awesome. I'm really excited. Hopefully he will also run in 2020. I'm really hopeful he will. But CNN says Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders announced Monday he will seek re-election this year with the formal kickoff in June as he angles for a third term. Quote, the 2018 midterm elections will be a pivotal moment in our country's history, and we must fight for an agenda that works for working people. Following his insurgent but ultimately unsuccessful bid to capture the 2016 Democratic presidential nomination, Sanders has used his increased influence to champion his preferred policies and argue in favor of reshaping the Democratic Party in a more progressive direction, explicitly opposed to corporate influence and interest. So, they go on to say in his statement, Sanders listed off a slew of priorities he has publicly championed, including a national minimum wage of $15 an hour, a Medicare for all single-payer program, and free tuition at public colleges. Sanders is an independent senator who caucuses with the Democrats, won his bid for Senate in 2006 and re-election in 2012 by overwhelming margins, according to the Vermont Secretary of State's election archive. So, here's the thing, okay? Bernie Sanders rerunning in 2018. This is amazing news. Bernie Sanders is by far the most progressive senator. Even if you were to be someone who's like a pragmatist, I guess you would call it, or sorry, not pragmatist, but you're somebody who wants someone the opposite, actually, the complete opposite. Someone who wants someone even more progressive, because progressives have what I would call merited criticisms of him when it comes to his foreign policy, whether it be on Israel, Palestine, when he signed off the letter to the UN saying that, to be softer on Israel, which is ridiculous. But the thing is, especially when this whole Gaza thing happened, where over 60 Palestinians were killed, over 2,400 were wounded, and no Israeli casualties whatsoever, he came out attacking Israel for what they did. So he's far and away better than anybody else in the Senate on any of that stuff. Now, Elizabeth Warren is probably the second most progressive, senator in the Senate. But I think that the odds, I haven't looked at the statistics yet and the odds of it, but we know that he's the most popular senator. And I think it's even higher when you look at just the people in his own state. People love Bernie Sanders, especially within Vermont. People absolutely adore and they love Bernie Sanders. They approve of him overwhelmingly. Now, I think he's going to win with a breeze. I don't think it's going to be a struggle at all. It's Vermont. It's Bernie Sanders. Who the fuck doesn't know who Bernie Sanders is anymore? He's got the name recognition. And that's why I think he can win in 2020. I'm very hopeful that he runs in 2020, because if he runs in 2020, the DNC can't stop him. The only way they could stop him is by literally changing the votes, which is very different from what happened in the 2016 election. And that would be far, far worse for them when that information would come out. But Bernie Sanders, with the name recognition that he now has, cannot lose. Could you imagine a Bernie Sanders presidency? That would be the best, political time, at least in relevant modern history. And it'd be fucking awesome. So we have an announced 2018 run. This is going to be awesome. He's going to win, continue to be in the Senate, be a driving force in the Senate for progressives on the front lines, defending key progressive and liberal, positions, whether it be, not only protecting Obamacare from the Republicans, but also, of course, advocating and bringing up the Medicare for All bill, etc., etc. He had the recent jobs guarantee plan. So it's really awesome. Next step, let's go 2020, man. Bernie 2020, let's fucking do it. I can't wait. I'm hyped. I'm excited. Let's do it. Bernie 2020, we can do this. Let's go.